All right, good morning. We're going to start playing some Shadows of Seattle with my dear friends. And everybody's here and we're ready to get started. We're just going for 2 hours today. Um, let's get over to my other screen. Boom. I got all of this up because that seems about right. This is not the screen I wanted, that's why. Change scenes again. There it is. Awesome. There we go. Cool. So, our characters are Rook Delaney, played by Seth, who's waving, but I'm not on the screen with his picture. So that's good. Then we have, gosh, that's why that's messed up. Okay, cool. Alexi Parkins, played by Shannon, also waving, even though not his favorite pictures. Jane, played by Monique, and Kelly, played by Mike. When we last left off, Rook had been given a job by his mob contacts, an ultimatum of sorts that he needed to kill somebody. And he was doing some research when he came to the attention of Alexi and Jane, who then started to research his target, one John Widmere. And during the course of that, there was a adorable exchange in the break room of Alexi's office, where John Widmere works, where they kept running into each other. And she said, "Well, it must be fate." And he said, "Well, if it's fate, maybe I'll see you tonight, maybe at dinner." And she agreed. So we ended the session last week with her having been set up for a date with John Widmere at 7:30 that evening. Yes, and Rook also met his doppelganger, one Jane disguised as himself, and he managed to not recognize that it was him. Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah. That was at the burger place, the sandwich shop. Mm-hmm. The Panini Plus, that was it. Thank you, Shannon, for having amazing notes. Appreciate that. All right. So let's see where we're at here. Okay, so yeah, we're coming in. It was lunchtime, and you had agreed to have dinner with John. And then you and Jane went back to your apartment where she was going to stay. I think. Um, oh, right. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because she took over the identity of uh, a drug addict that she found. Hey, cats, if you're gonna fight, not on my table, thanks. Um, a drug addict that she had found, and so her alias is now. Where are my notes? Could help. Mary Canis. Awesome. Okay, so I think we'd been discussing that maybe it was time to call your friend who was much better at these things. Uh, was that gonna happen? Because Yes. Yes, you stole a phone. Didn't you steal 4 phones? Right. There you go. Mm-hmm. Of course. That's kind of her deal. Like, it's like right there in her title. I mean, good is such a relative term. Really? I've got my book behind me. So, Kelly, your phone is ringing. It's a number you don't recognize. This is still not the right book. It's a voice you don't recognize. Oh, okay. Yeah, that just happened. Uh, Kelly, what are you gonna do? Are you just gonna head over there? Hold on. Apparently, I did not actually turn y'all's audio on this entire time.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oops.
You want to have that conversation again? Because I'm apparently the worst.
God, you're the worst.
I really, really am. So,
Um,
yeah. So,
so we're just gonna redo that.
yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, everybody.
Fine.
That's all right.
So Kelly, your phone is ringing and it's a number you don't recognize.
Despite the overwhelming urge to let it go straight to voicemail, I pick up. I don't say anything. I just pick up.
Hi. Hey, I really hope you're there. It's me.
You don't recognize the voice either.
What do you mean it's me?
Okay, cool. It is you. Okay. Well, it's me, that girl from New York. We met in the alley and we did that one thing that one time.
Oh God, it's you.
Hi. I'm so glad you remember me. So, I know you're super busy and really, really important. So I'll keep it short and sweet. I kind of need a life, and I found this drug addict who's really not doing anything with hers. So I was just gonna, um, take her identity, and I was wondering if you could help.
Um, I'm not having this discussion over an unsecured line. Where are you?
Oh, yeah, good idea, good idea. Um, I I am really, really close to the local sandwich chain.
Hmm.
That's very popular and has hot melted cheese, and I'm starving. Could you buy me lunch?
Maybe.
Yes. I mean, cool. I mean, it's all right if you don't have to. I'm you're doing so much already, and it'll be so good to see you. I'll be in a power suit. Bye.
Okay. Um. All right. So let's see. I can't remember. Does she know what I actually look like, or did she only see me in one of my different guises?
I
I
think
saw
that's up
you.
to you. I don't know if that was actually established one way or the other, so let's
I saw her
Okay.
establish that
changing
now.
from one into another, though.
Okay.
Right,
Um.
right. But was it from one guise into another, or from his normal self into another, or vice versa? That's, I think, the question.
I don't have details noted. Let's see. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll get into a different form. Um.
No.
Okay.
I did run into you again in Seattle.
Fine. All right. So the sandwich place, and I'll. They're like in my normal appearance.
Okay. So this is
So
at Panini's Plus down the street from Alexi's work. Is that where you're moving in?
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll be sitting there like sipping on a mooched soda. So that the blonde that she was earlier was wearing, but just as herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she looks very out of place, like this 20-year-old kid in a power suit.
In a power suit. Does the power suit fit? That's the question.
Not anymore.
Ah.
It's a little saggy and a little loose in the front
Okay.
and the back.
And everywhere. Okay.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
pretty underfed.
So basically, once I spot you, I walk up and I basically go, "Well, that suit's seen better days."
Yeah, just suits.
Mhm.
She's trying to be really cool right now.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you need my help with?
Yeah, she's probably still there. Want to take a ride?
Not really, but if it gets you out of my life faster, sure.
Oh, cool. I'll fill you in on everything on the way there. As best I can. Okay. It's they'll go a couple miles into the den, where the heroin den where she found this socialite that's fallen off the wagon, and be like, ta-da!
Okay, so I'm assuming that you're explaining to me on the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so now tell me what I've missed.
Sorry. So she had an identity of a girl who was attacked by something supernatural,
Okay.
by no fault of her own. And so she just took the girl's job, went to work as her, lived as her, and she's this introverted girl who lived alone, so it was pretty easy.
Okay.
And this girl lives in like a very rich. Her family lives in a very rich neighborhood, university,
Okay.
and apparently has been binging on heroin in this den for an undetermined amount of
Right.
she is dead, and then she's like her purse had managed to not be stolen. Jane came and it's like, oh look, an identity.
Okay. Do we know what attacked her?
All right, we're having some major
Yeah.
audio issues here. Are you guys hearing it on your end? With
Well, I can hear
Yeah.
everyone's talking.
can you hear everything fine, or do they sound all robot-y, or is that just me?
No, everything's fine.
I'm
Internet,
good.
is it just me, or are you guys getting that clean? Hold on 1 second while they respond.
I'm hearing the tiniest bit from you, but that's also kind of a me thing, like on my end.
Yeah, it is robot-y. Let me try closing some extraneous programs here.
Oh, your audio just got distorted.
My audio just got distorted?
Yeah,
Mhm.
for a second.
Yeah.
Of course it did. Okay. I'm gonna try this. Okay. I have the minimum amount of windows open. Actually, let me try one more thing real quick. I'll watch the stream on my phone. Okay. Okay, better, I think. I hope. I pray.
Fingers crossed.
It's about the same for. I mean, yeah, I'm good on my end at least.
Yeah, it's honestly, it sounded basically fine the entire time for me. So
Yeah.
Okay, well,
really changed over
it
here.
was getting really robot-y in that conversation between Jane and Kelly, so hopefully this helps. We'll find out. Okay, now where were we before I stopped the presses?
So I just gotten the lowdown on what had happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
The first girl, I know that something weird got her because she was covered in ectoplasm after I heard screaming.
Okay.
I got there and she was already dead. This girl's not dead.
Okay. So, but you've stolen her, or you've taken her identity. You're living as her in her place, and you've just left her here.
I haven't taken over yet. I would like to.
Okay. That's Okay, what do you know about her other than like what you found in her purse? Have you been to her place yet?
Well, I searched online. She wrote down her ID for her university, so I was able to log in on a computer and find out her class schedule and her parents, where she lives when she's not living on campus.
Okay.
Their address.
I would highly discourage you from going home because you're basically trying to take over the life of someone who you've never met before. So you need to. This is not someone that you want to take over the life of because she's a local and she has established roots. Well, her living alone is good, but you've got some pretty big risks in the fact that she's got family and they have resources.
Okay.
Also, why are you trying to take over someone else's life instead of figuring one out for yourself?
There's some tricky stuff with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of don't want to be like my dad. So it's complicated, but I can't let anybody find me.
Okay.
I can keep looking around this den.
Susan, is anyone in the Heroin Dead den? Or den dead? Like, has anyone died?
Why don't you roll, I think, roll investigation to go and check them. See,
Okay.
see if they are dead.
So what's the process for rolling? Because I haven't done that before.
Okay, open up your character sheet.
Okay.
And you'll find your investigation is listed under fair.
Yeah.
And so you'll see the button for fair is the one that is blank plus blank blank.
Yeah.
And you just click that button and it'll ask you for modifiers. I think you've got a +1 modifier to find somebody dead in a heroin den.
Right.
So with a 0, you do not find anybody dead. Now what you can do, if you would like to find a dead body, is you can spend a fate point,
right,
in order to invoke one of your aspects and find someone who is dead. Because with that roll, it doesn't mean that there's nobody dead. It means you didn't find them.
Right.
At least not necessarily. So if you want to do that, you can spend one of your fate points and invoke. Now let's see what your aspects are here. I think that probably the best aspect to invoke here would be this is not amateur hour, because it's pretty amateur to try to take over the life of like the way she was doing. And so you can be like, here's how you actually do it. That would definitely be a legit one you could invoke, or you could also.
I was going to say the good to be owed a favor is pretty good too.
That was the other one I was going to say would also apply. You could invoke either one of those. That'll give you a +2 bonus, which is going to be enough to find what you're looking for. You don't need to invoke both of them, but either one works. I think which one you choose might affect the flavor of the way we're going. So what do you think?
I would probably go with the good to be owed a favor.
Okay. So you then go on your character sheet and it says 8 points.
I lost you.
I can't hear you for a second. Hold on.
I hear like
there's
static.
There's a lot of background noise, but you're fading out all of a sudden.
Does that help at all? Stupid thing. Okay, did that help? Did that help?
No, it got worse. The background noise is better, but you're pretty faded out.
How about now?
Not really.
Don't know what's on. Unplug, replug it. I'm about to flip through this here. I've got one other option here. Give me a second. If this winds up being the best solution, I think I'm going
Oh,
to
that's
cry.
much better.
Well, I didn't do anything yet.
All of a sudden,
You
your
sound great,
audio,
though.
like, yeah, no, it came out. All of a sudden, it's like,
Take credit for it already.
Okay.
worked
well,
out exactly like you planned.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so what I was saying was, what you need to do is just change where your fate points are listed down below from
Okay.
3 to 2. Your adjusted
Okay.
refresh remains the same, but that means at the beginning of the next session you'll have 3 again. But you can earn points by allowing me to compel your aspects in a way that makes the stories more interesting.
Yeah.
Or you can use them again to, if I offer you a compel, you can spend one to not have to do what I say.
Okay.
Or you can use them like you did here to better your roll. Or if
Okay.
you did really, really badly, to get a reroll instead. But
Mhm.
usually, unless you've got like all minuses across the board, which, like you just rolled a bunch of zeros. Wait. Oh, you actually didn't need to spend that because I'm looking at this. And
Okay.
actually, you should have just put a 1 in that box instead of a +1.
Ah, okay.
Because you actually should have had a 5,
Okay. So,
which was fantastic. So you take your fate point back.
all right. So I totally found a dead body.
Yeah, you totally found a dead body that is going to be perfect for her purposes.
Okay.
It's not just that you found a dead body. That's a really good one.
Okay, good. All right. So we find someone where it's like clearly not a local, like, whatever. Okay. Matches all the criteria.
Yes, it matches all of the criteria. Like that's a 5, and if you look at your ladder,
Yeah.
+5 is superb.
Nice.
So yeah, this was not just a good job; it was a great job.
Okay.
So
Let's see.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So, basically, I say, this is a much more viable candidate for your purposes. And I'm trying to, did you take the purse of this girl whose identity you were gonna steal?
All the important stuff.
Okay.
She like pulls it out of her pocket.
Okay. You're a terrible person because you were just going to steal someone's life based on the fact that they were conveniently here. You're going to help me, and what we're going to do is we're going to dispose of this body, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take this girl back to her family.
Okay. She's like trying not to cry.
Yeah.
now we can roleplay that out, or now you can spend a fate point of your "this is not amateur hour" to just be like, over the course of the next 4 hours, we do this.
I think that that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's a good use. So
Yeah.
while that's all happening, let's check in on Rook.
All right.
I believe before or the last thing I did, I was just going home for the day, wasn't I?
I think so. I mean, is there what would you be doing when you're home? Are you going to continue your research online? Are you going to try to psych yourself up to commit some murder? Are you going to try to talk yourself out of it? Are you going to try to reach out to any contacts you might have made, Kelly, who might be able to help get you out of this mess.
Yeah, actually, I do know Kelly, don't I?
Oh
Yes.
God!
I sure do.
Why are all you amateurs moving to my city?
Because we all love you.
I hate every one of you. I hate all of you so much.
And since he's also in the mafia, I can totally just be open about the fact that I have to kill a dude.
Am I in the mafia? Am I
And
really?
you were literally inside the mafia.
Uh-huh.
Did you know that he was infiltrating though, and not actually in the mafia?
I don't think I did know who he was in the mafia. I remember I saw him changing into someone at the mafia in the someone else that was also in the building or something like that. But I don't remember if he himself was actually a part of it because all I saw was a transformation.
Wasn't it? Oh,
I think I pieced out well before I saw it finish or saw him start or
yeah.
Or
Yeah,
you-
basically, that was like amateur hour, right? Yeah, that was when I got caught
Mhm.
with both of you. God,
Yeah.
embarrassing.
And yet we never met.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
both of them caught you shapeshifting at different points during that escapade.
Right. Right. Hence the this is not amateur hour. Okay.
Mhm.
See, this is why you stay professional, and because when you don't, people try to call in favors.
Yeah, I'm not a professional though.
Nope.
So I'm good on that end.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm totally gonna give him a call. Hopefully, while he's still cleaning up during one of the 4 hours where he's cleaning up those bodies.
Okay. Has Jane met Rook yet?
No,
Okay.
not
Well,
formally.
All right.
Or even informally, really.
you bumped into each other, and Jane knows who Rook is, but maybe not by name.
Okay.
But
He's
on
just the
sight.
creepy guy hanging outside of
Very unprofessional.
Did he buy a
Alexi's.
coffee from you while you were still that last person? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then he threw up outside the coffee shop,
Good.
and
Good.
we thought he was acting. Me and Alexi, like, because Alexi is there for coffee, thought he was acting suspiciously. So Jane went in, stole a power suit, and started following him. and
Every
And
time you
she
say
found-
power suit, I think Fallout. Sorry.
You know, businesswomen would be taking a lot more seriously if the power suit they wear were the same as the power suits in Fallout. I'm just
No
saying.
joke.
That'd be awesome.
I'm just saying.
so
Okay.
Kidding me?
she found out that he was trying to annihilate someone in Alexi's office,
Okay.
and so by then pretending to be him, and then spent the rest of the afternoon as him, waiting for Lexi to get off work.
Hmm.
And then that's when she was like in Panini Plus because she had like buddied with the guy behind the place
Mhm.
for free drinks. And then he came in for a sandwich, and she was stuck there, and then like escaped. So he followed her, but she escaped.
Mhm.
So they haven't really met.
Okay. Okay. I believe there was a phone call that was going to be made.
All right, so you guys have just finished phase 2 of Project Dispose of the Body.
Okay.
Uh,
And so we're bringing back we just finished bringing back the girl.
okay. So yeah, you were it was a multi-step phase. You know, dispose of the body, help this
Yeah.
girl out, assume identity, profit. So yeah, you've just taken this girl to rehab, dropped her off, and your phone rings again, Kelly. I think you actually have Rook's number programmed in there.
Mhm.
I imagine you would.
So yeah, you So go
Do I
ahead.
know him? Do I know him as Kelly, or do I know him under a pseudonym or something?
I think it was a pseudonym.
Yeah.
What? So what name would I have you under?
Oh God.
I mean, you just I think you just make one up, probably.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. Vito.
Vito,
Sure. Why not?
Vito.
Vito.
It's done.
Vito like a bill, or Vito like Latin with an O.
Like VITO.
VITO, got it. Vito? Vito, hello?
Oh God. Hold on. I'm gonna look over at Jane. Is there a club for you people?
What? You know another one like me?
Oh
Oh
God,
my
I
god,
hate
did
all
my
of you.
dad spawn again?
Okay. What?
Vito,
What?
are you busy? Vito, are you here? Are you somewhere nearby?
Where is nearby?
Oh, sorry. Oh, you're probably not. I'm in Seattle.
Son of a bitch.
I need help.
It's one of those days. Where are you?
I'm in. Oh God, where am I? The shitty side.
Yes.
Everything is shitty around here. Where is that in Seattle?
Where's that map at? I should have that actually up on the screen. More close Skype. Monique, you're the one that found it. It's
If you scroll up in the chat, it's not very far.
oh, it's actually in this chat. Oh,
I
amazing.
think so. I think that's what these links are that I'm looking at.
Yes. Continue. My internet is chugging really hard.
I found the link. Hang on.
I mean, I could probably just get away with the general cardinal direction.
Oh.
Okay,
Where's my-
I'm gonna say, do you know where this sandwich shop is?
Yeah,
Yes.
just there a little while ago.
Great. All right, let's meet there in a half hour.
Okay, good. Yes, I'll be there. Sounds like you've done this before.
Oh God. But
Yeah, I think this was all taking place while you're still at work, Alexi. And so they're going to
Yeah, that
wrap
was what I
up
was
right around the
thinking.
time you get off work, and then you'll have like
That
an hour or so to get ready for your date and maybe fill them in on what's going on.
okay.
Okay. Have I met Alexi? Let me check my.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have. There are kids being kidnapped.
Right. Okay.
Jane and I ran into each other and I didn't trust her and things. And yeah.
Yeah.
I helped.
Yeah. It was basically I had to step in and guide them. Okay. All right. Cool.
Hey, Kelly, where are we going?
We're going back to that sandwich shop. I'll buy you something.
Oh, okay.
It'll be
Perfect.
it'll be a gift to start your new life with.
You're the best. Thank you so much.
Okay, so
Hey.
Susan, what are the details on the body that we found? Like, who is this person?
I'll let Monique make up these details. Tell me about your new life. Was this a man? Was this a woman? What was their name? Who are you becoming?
Let's see. They all say it was like a 24-year-old, like, no, not even that old, like probably like a 22-year-old like punk kid who had been like in and out of the law in Idaho, and then said like, screw that, I'm moving to the city, I won't be so misunderstood there. And then instead he
Because
like
Seattle is the city to Idaho, like the entire state of Idaho.
Seattle's big. Yeah.
I would totally move to Seattle if I grew up in Idaho.
I know,
Are you
right?
kidding me?
Totally.
Right? So yeah, so he joined like an anarchist straight edge cult in the city, and
Straight
That
edge
worked out
cult?
really worked out for him. That's how he wound up in a heroin den.
I was gonna say, wait, what?
because he was stubborn and rebellious and burned all his bridges, he decided to get into heroin to really show those punks and OD'd.
Okay.
Okay.
What's his name? Well, what's
Uh,
your name, Jane?
Alexander Brown
Bill.
Bill. Alexander Brown Bill. Thanks, Seth.
Sure.
He goes by X.
Oh Lord. All right. Yeah, but so yeah, like not local, but has a place. Blah blah blah. All right, good.
Group home kid. His life was a mess. Okay, I'll do something with it because I'm not a bad person. I swear, I will be.
And what does he
try
look
and-
like? Like, describe Alexander Brown Bill.
Black hair. Quick, Google, help me.
He has black hair. Yep.
Blue eyes. Piercings. Why are you showing me all the same person?
What did you Google?
Black hair, male. I don't know.
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Black
So-
hair, blue eyes, piercings.
So the way your shapeshifting
tattoos.
works, you tell me. When you shapeshift, you can easily mimic the tattoos, but how does the piercings work? Do you mimic a piercing so it looks like you have a piercing, but it's actually just like you, or do you just have like a hole where the hardware would go?
I'll have a hole where the hardware would go since I don't have the hardware on me and I don't really want to take his.
Yeah, that's a little gross.
Yeah. All right. It would be kind of gross. I totally agree with that, but. All right,
I
cool.
haven't gotten the hang of like shape shifting the clothes or anything, just the person and their voice.
Well, you can't. Well, it's magic, so you can probably mimic his vocal cords by touch or something, but you probably would not be able to mimic his vocal, like, speech patterns, even though you have his voice. You would sound, to someone who knew him, you would definitely sound off.
Right, but the nice thing is that no one around here knows him.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is why you need Kelly's help. So you, instead of going with the popular girl, you went with the dirtbag nobody really cares about. Much better?
Yeah.
Question mark? Better for our purposes, but still of questionable morals.
I'm not going to be a bad person.
All right.
Just keep telling yourself that, Jane.
Yeah.
I
Don't
want
care.
to be a bad person. He looks like Dane DeHaan with black hair.
Okay.
Dane DeHaan.
Hi, Beth.
How do you spell DeHaan?
Hang on.
Oh wait, never mind.
I have a link for you.
Google told me.
Google fixed it. Oh god, that guy.
Let's see if this link actually works for me or if my internet is just... Oh, okay. Sure.
Wait, this was this guy was like Harry Osborn, wasn't he? Yeah.
Apparently, that's what Google tells me.
But you can just not be right. Okay, there you go. Good job. Yeah, I know. Okay, so you and Jane meet up with Rook over at the Panini's Plus after
Okay.
you finish your your exploits.
Yeah. Okay, so I am going to shapeshift into the form that Rook knows me, which is Vito.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Do you want me to turn around or close my eyes? Do you need privacy for that?
Oh my god. No, I'm fine. Whatever.
Okay. She like stares very hard to take a note.
So,
Oh, does Kelly know that
And-
I saw him? I don't remember.
Yeah, no, because you guys
Yeah.
you obviously met each other since you have his number. It's canon now.
Well, I mean, do I know that he's a shapeshifter? I mean, does he
yeah,
know
you caught me
that he's a
shapeshifting.
shapeshifter?
That's your. From what I remember, that was his introduction to supernatural rooks.
But,
Yeah.
But does Kelly know that Rook knows? That's the question.
Yeah, it was that you caught me shapeshifting.
Then I think I ran away or something.
Wasn't there something about you had to do some executions or something like that?
Mm-hmm. And
And I wound up saying that like I'd help you out because you had caught me shapeshifting or something. It was something like that.
yeah, so I think
Yeah, I
you
remember
do
the
know.
executions. I remember.
Okay, so you do know. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, it's been a while since we did the whole backstory, so that was,
Yeah, some of my
Mhm.
details are hazy.
you know.
It's like we all have lives. It makes it difficult for us to play all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. It's weird. Okay. Yeah. So. Okay. Yeah, but you saw me shapeshifting into Vito, which yeah, let's just go with that. So I'll show up as Vito.
And
I'll text
Jane, are you
Alexi.
still are now that you're in the form of X? Are you still wearing the power suit, or did you change into something more appropriate?
Oh my God! Yes, please tell me you're wearing the business power suit.
I don't think we've had time to get me new clothes,
Fantastic.
and I don't know how to change my clothes yet.
I think that Alexander was like taller than the blonde that you'd been before, so like you're wearing this power suit and like you've got like tummy showing in between like the pants and the top. It's,
Yeah, and then the shoes. I'm just barefoot, I guess.
And you have no money, right?
Doesn't look like Alex did either.
Okay.
X.
Okay. So I've got resources.
yes, you do.
On our way over, we will swing by. I don't know, like, what's a horrible store that I could buy clothes for you at?
I do have the
I usually
hobo
send her to
suit.
Goodwill.
Yeah, let's go to Goodwill and we'll get you kitted out quickly. And
I
$20.
have the clothes I used to dress up as Rook behind a dumpster outside the Panini Plus. I offer that. I don't know who we're meeting.
how much do they smell? That's the question.
If they're still there, they may smell a little, but they were in a plastic bag, so they shouldn't be too bad.
Let's just swing by Goodwill. It's fine.
Okay.
I can afford to throw out $20 and buy you a pair of pants and you know, like, get you jeans and a t-shirt and shoes.
Yeah, with your
That's
level of resources, I'm not even gonna make you roll for that. I mean,
I was gonna say that's not a big deal. All right. Okay.
So she'll like kind of pepper you with questions about changing clothes as well as person.
yeah. Did you change clothes as well as your persona as you went in, as you became Vito? Is that something you had mastered? The ability, yeah, you, Kelly. Did you change your clothing as part of your transformation into Vito?
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, is it like changing fur?
Yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things where you could, and I kind of like the idea that he has that level of control,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also probably harder.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he kind of just wears generic clothes that kind of work for all-purpose situations most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like pullover and jeans and boots most of the time, and then if but he can change if he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's kind of kind of the art of minimal effort in order to kind of not slip later on.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so we'll just say like he's wearing clothes. He just changed it into Vito, but didn't have to change his clothes.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. So yeah. You guys all. I think the most appropriate thing would be for you guys to be walking right past Alexi's office as she walks out the front door, heading towards
Okay.
the pita place. So, Alexi, you've just gotten off work. You're about to go get ready for your date. As Kelly, as Vito, who you don't recognize, and Jane as Alex, who you don't recognize, walk past the front door. But the two of you totally see her. So.
Okay.
I'll cat call her.
All right.
I will ignore you and rethink taking Krav Maga lessons.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I do a double take because I clearly recognize her.
Hey, buy me a sandwich.
I might flip you off as I continue walking away.
I'm like, Alexi.
That I'll turn around for. But
Yeah.
now I'm really on edge because I don't recognize either of you and
He looks like angry.
no idea what's last I heard Jane was trying to shapeshift into a woman, so
Yeah. No, I basically I walk up and I say it's Kelly.
It's me.
oh, okay,
Oh,
great.
Jane.
See you tonight.
No, actually I have an actual date tonight. You will recall the conversation we had.
Oh, right. Hey, bring me any leftovers?
Yeah,
Always just
I'll see
mooch
what I
off
can
of
do.
people? Like, really?
Yep. That is pretty much how she exists as far as I can tell.
Okay.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, you're also relying way too much on the kindness of strangers. We need to fix that.
I've been trying. I was doing really good. You'd be really proud of me. I have done stuff.
Kid, you know that I'm not your father, right?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Right. And what's the appropriate answer to that?
Um,
It's cool. It's cool. I'm
Alright.
cool. I can do it on my own. I got this.
all right, just stand there and play the quiet game while the grown-ups talk, okay? All right.
Fuming.
All right, Alexi, yeah, so where are you going right now?
It's kind of a long story. The short version is that I have a date that I need to go get ready for.
I know the story. If you need help.
She does technically know the story.
How critical is this date? Because I'm calling in my favor otherwise.
Okay. The date itself, was sort of a surprise, but the part of the reason I accepted it is that I think this guy's life might be in danger, and I'm trying to protect him. It's a long story, like I said, but there's a guy that I know back from New York who's in town who has been acting really shady, and I know has ties to the mob, and he was trying to make that. I have reason to believe that this guy, my coworker, is a target of some sort.
Okay. Go get ready for your date.
Mike,
Here's
I'd
my
like you to do me a favor, actually.
Yes. What's
I
up?
would like you to roll to remember something that happened because I don't think Mike remembers, but Kelly might.
Okay.
I think in this case the best the best skill analogy would be lore, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. That's good.
Mhm.
All right, and then modify it by 3.
No,
All
no,
right.
it's already modified by 3. So when you press
Okay.
that button, underneath lore,
Okay.
it'll automatically add that 3. So just leave that box blank for the modifiers.
Okay. And then for when I'm rolling, the bonus is 3, or no?
No, when you press that button, it automatically puts the bonus in.
Okay.
So you just roll it. And this time it rolled correctly on a 1. And that's average. Okay, you definitely know, like, that she's talking about Rook, who you're about to go meet.
Oh, okay.
You've definitely figured that part out. You're like,
Yeah, everything comes together.
Okay, so I basically sit there and say, you should come with me instead. Because I think I'm meeting up with your date.
well, not her date, but the guy that's after her date.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Okay. Why are you meeting up with this guy?
Wait, we're meeting up with that guy?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh,
complicated.
so he's not my brother.
No. God, I hope not. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Alexi, you should come with us right now.
Okay.
You still got an hour until your date, so
Yep.
you could
Yep. I
theoretically.
will. And if I remember correctly, we decided to meet near the office for dinner.
That's true.
So. Okay.
Panini Plus is a good spot.
No, it's fancier than Panini Plus.
If my lawyer date can't take his lawyer date out to a nicer restaurant than that, we have problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
It depends what kind of lawyer you are.
Even so.
I'm just saying. Like, not everybody gets to be Gabriel Mocked in Suits. So.
I'm not saying that this is the way we'd eat out every night if we ended up actually, like, dating. I'm saying that for a first date, he can do better than Panini Plus.
All right.
You know, Panini Plus, it might be the highest area.
The plus in Panini Plus is just how the high class it is. So Panini Plus Plus is better. It's like how many dollar signs it has on Yelp is how many pluses are after the Panini Plus. And so when you go to
okay.
Panini
That
Plus
makes
Plus
sense.
Plus,
It's the new Michelin star.
It's 1984.
Good.
All right, I'm gonna,
Double plus good Panini.
like, in the back of my head, be thinking about how I can get ready for a date without ever going home and changing and everything. But I'm gonna go with them,
Mhm.
at least for the time being. I am gonna, Kelly, just so you know, this guy knows me and knows that I'm a lawyer. We've had interactions in the past. I don't know how that affects your plan here.
We'll play it by ear.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, and thus the group makes its way down to Panini Plus.
where Rook is waiting.
I'm actually really excited. This is the first time that the entire party has been in the same place.
I know it's a landmark. It's a landmark.
I'm having second thoughts about being here. Maybe I'll just go home.
I wonder if the worker is like the same from yesterday and recognizes Rook, but Rook is not me, so he's like really confused.
You guys are like Panini.
Hey, what's up? You're here a lot. What?
So Rook, yeah, you're hanging out there, and I think it will be some other person on shift, the guy you hung out with that's his day off today, just to make it less complicated for Rook, because otherwise he's liable to do a runner. We don't need that.
Okay.
So yeah, if we were playing for more than 2 hours, this would be a perfect time to take a break. But I think we're just gonna power through the full 2 hours because we've got a hard stop at 11:30. So
Yeah.
um, let's go ahead and Rook. You look up and you see Vito, just like you remember him from New York. But he's also got this punk-looking kid guy. The guy looks like he's 20 something. He's got a bunch of holes for piercings. Like he's got like gauged earlobes, but they're no jewelry in them, and a couple of tattoos. And that lawyer, Alexi.
I feel sick. Hey, Kelly, over here.
No, Vito.
Sorry, Vito. What was I thinking? Why would I say Kelly?
Yeah.
Vito.
Okay. So we all go and sit down, and I go, okay.
Alexi, it's nice to see you again.
Yeah, no, it's twice in one day. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's weird.
2 days, twice in as many days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, you two know each other. That makes this less awkward, or more. I don't care. And this is X. X is going to be playing the quiet game.
Hello, X.
And then, all right, so you called me and you need help.
Yeah.
What is going on?
You know, I had some problems at work. Management gave me a task. I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete it. You know, the tasks.
And what kind of task would this be?
Disposal.
Problem solving, perhaps?
Yeah.
Hmm.
They have a bit of a thorn in their side, I'm assuming. And they asked
You don't
me.
even know.
What?
No, please go on. Sorry.
Okay. They asked me to take care of a problem.
Okay.
And I've never done something like that before.
Okay. So some pest removal, perhaps?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, kind of like that. You know, they should have just hired a professional, but I guess I'm cheaper.
Yeah, that sounds like the kind of management decision they would make. Okay. Okay, so
They nervously tapping.
Mm-hmm.
so who is this pest? That's the question.
What do you mean? Who is?
Uh-huh.
Humans aren't pests.
You're a pest.
I was a kidder.
Uh-huh. All right. We need to move to a quiet area of the restaurant where we can talk and not be overheard.
So I picture this restaurant, and this won't do anything at all for Shannon, but I think Mike knows what I'm talking about. Did you ever go to Rick's Dessert Diner?
Yeah.
I picture it looking kind of like that, only serving paninis instead of desserts.
Okay.
The old one before they moved to the new location.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't
just
think
go to
of
like
that.
kind of the back corner.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a back corner with some booths over near the bathroom, but the whole place is really tight.
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay. I can keep an eye out.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll have X sit at the booth next to us.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alexi and I are gonna take Rook to the corner
Mm-hmm.
so that we can't have anyone like nearby overhearing us.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically it's okay, so you need to spill the beans with us and tell us what's going on. And not speak in vague allusions.
I don't know if it's such a good idea to talk about these things in front of a lawyer.
Give her $1.
A
What?
lawyer Fine. I forgot for a second that I'm still super rich.
Yes. give the lawyer $1. She's your lawyer. If you are not planning to actually go through with this pest removal, we are just talking about your options for getting out of the situation. And thus, because you've given her $1, she is your lawyer, and attorney-client privilege applies here.
Probably like sweaty
that face.
coins.
That
Something feels
face.
very informal about this.
Uh-huh.
This is an amateur hour, Vito.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. They asked me to take care of John,
Okay.
a Mr. Windermere.
Okay. I have no idea who that is, but
He's a coworker of mine.
okay.
Also, my date this evening.
Ah, okay. Well, this isn't awkward at all.
No, not in any way.
Okay, so Rook, what do you know about this guy? Why are your employers going after him?
Did I learn that at any point?
They didn't tell you.
No, but I did.
What?
But I don't think you did. But I have a pretty sound theory. I think.
Okay.
I think I was kept in the dark about this one.
Yeah, they
What's going on?
didn't tell you anything about it, but she did some research, so maybe you're going to share that?
Yeah. John has a brother, Charles, who had some ties to the mafia. I'm not sure exactly what his role there was, but
Okay.
he basically said, "You know what? I'm out," and disappeared about 6 months ago.
Hmm.
I can't say for certain, but my assumption is that they're trying to get to Charles through John.
Okay.
All the research I did didn't give me any indication that they actually had any contact with one another.
Okay. So Rook, they're just trying to get you to take this guy out?
Yes.
Huh. That. What are they asking for proof?
Oh God. I guess I'll probably like a finger or something.
Here's my question: is could X or I change into this guy's shape and you could get a picture? Would that work?
Cat, you're on my keyboard.
X is all. I like hush. X is also one of you.
Yes.
I look over.
Yeah. X is, for lack of a better term, right now my apprentice.
Did you overhear that?
You want a roommate too?
Hey,
No.
Yeah, me either.
I can't live with him. He's a boy.
You're a boy.
Okay, right now you're a boy.
Oh,
We're getting off the topic.
sorry. Can I have a sandwich?
Well, I mean, yeah. I suppose I could try it.
Find out. You need to find out what they want as proof, and then we can go from there. But if we can get this resolved with a minimal amount of bloodshed, that would be ideal.
Okay, I think that in your dossier that you were sent, Rook, they told you what they wanted as proof. Let's have you roll to see how much proof they wanted. I'm going to say rapport. You're rolling your connection to the mob to see how much they trust you, as to how much proof they're going to want for the murder, or for the death. So your rapport is average, which is not that great, but after you roll, you can add, you can spend fate points to invoke some of your aspects for a bonus.
Right.
You are going to need a 4 or better in order to have a picture be sufficient.
Okay.
If you roll a 0 or lower, they're going to have a medical expert in town that will act as the medical examiner to perform an autopsy in order to be proof. So,
Oh, and I'm just clicking on the little button with the 4 pluses, right?
that's correct.
And boom. And no bonuses.
No bonuses.
All right.
With a 1, that is not very great. It's. Sorry, go ahead. You have 2 fate points, so you can spend one of them to bring it up to a 3. And that would be like. A 3 would be like a different medical examiner having signed off on it being John Winmere and him being dead. A 1 would have, if you leave it as a 1, that's going to be like you said, like a finger or something. A 2 is going to be, well, you can't get a 2 at this point. You can get a 3 or you can get a 5. A 5 would be plenty. A 5 would be like they're going to take your word for it. As long as they don't see him around anymore and you say he's dead, they'll take your word for it.
Okay. So
any of these, though, if he's still like...
Both my fate points to 5. Huh?
Yeah.
And you say a 3, it'll just call in a different medical examiner?
A 3 would be like they want to get a copy of the certificate of death.
Oh, I will deal with that.
Which could probably be forged.
Yeah, let's do that.
An autograph, sure. Okay, so if you spend a fate point, you need to invoke one of your aspects. Which aspect do you think would be most appropriate here?
It's a toss up for me between don't fuck up and a healthy dose of paranoia.
Okay. I think don't fuck up is probably pretty appropriate here.
Yeah.
So spend a fate point, and that 1 magically becomes a 3. And now all you need to do is you can as you can tell Vito that all they want is a copy of the certificate of death.
Okay. And I imagine I could just I got a great in resources. I could probably find, or if we found a forger, I could easily buy one.
I've got pretty good contacts in this city.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could potentially even get us an actual blank death certificate, which we would then just have to forge signatures and such on.
Yeah. Right, but you definitely know also, Rook, that you, and any of these, that if John makes the paper, or if it gets back to the East Coast that he's still alive, there will definitely be consequences. But because there's a continent in between, it's not going to be that hard. It's not like you're going to have to publicly fake his death and all of that. Like, if you'd managed to get a negative number, it would have been like, it needs to be messy and all over the news that he's dead. But
I wish I got a negative now. Okay. Do I know this offhand, or do I know this because I called someone just now?
I feel like it was already in your dossier.
Okay.
Like that's the kind of information that they give you when they give you a hit, is how they're going to want you to prove it.
Okay. then I would let them know. All they want is a copy of his death certificate. We can fake that. He might be okay.
Okay.
What happens
Definitely
to
need to
him
tell.
and to you, though, if
What?
what happens if they have another operative in the city who knows that he's not dead, or if he gets a high-profile case and is in the news and they see his name? I mean, what happens if they find out that we forged it? What happens not only to him? I assume that they just sent another hitman, but also to you in that situation.
I don't know what will happen to me. I didn't know how to do this. At the very least, I think we need to probably tell John that he needs to either lay low or get out of town.
Yeah. I concur.
Yeah.
Does he have an apartment?
But he has a house.
Yeah, he has a house. We all stalked him.
Yeah. Or you.
That's right. That's right. I can keep an eye on his place if he needs to.
You better be there.
Okay, so Alexi, it sounds like you're gonna have company on your date.
Oh, geez. At least let me go in first and warn him and explain to him what's happening.
Okay. I think that is reasonable.
I get to see what a date is like.
No, this is not going to be anything like what a date should be like.
Oh,
No, this is anytime you want to go on a date, you need to bring 4 people.
oh.
It's the more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's probably why I haven't been on a date.
No, it's don't listen to them, Jane. This is not in any way normal.
Oh.
Which
Okay.
I mean, I think probably we should all just get used to. I don't think anything in my life has been normal in a long time, so that's fine.
Yep, that's pretty true. Okay, so yeah, definitely not normal.
Right. I gotta write this down.
I'm taking notes. How does date?
Yeah, on everything, how people work.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, this whole endeavor didn't take you a huge amount of time. I'd say maybe 15 minutes. So you've got like about 45 minutes before your date. You can, if you rush, you can make it home and change, or you can do something closer to here to get ready.
I mean, I feel like it's almost not. It's not even really entirely worth getting ready at this point. It's not going to be a date.
Oh, I
I
feel so bad for John.
I know, right?
right.
Nope.
Nope.
You're just not as emotionally invested in this man's possible death.
No, I'm more of a sociopath that way.
Mhm.
All right. Is there a store nearby that is like a Target or a something reasonably priced that I can
Yeah,
maybe pick up
sure.
a cute but not horribly expensive dress
Yeah.
or change of clothes or something?
I have a really nice power suit.
I really don't want to wear a suit.
Wearing for like
Plus, I'm
3
pretty sure you buried a body
I'm
while
probably
wearing that
already
suit
wearing a
earlier
suit.
today.
Oh yeah.
Ugh. So yeah, you can
I
totally
really-
find like a Target or the Gap or something nearby.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna go buy again, a nice but not horribly expensive dress and touch up my makeup and hope that's good enough.
Seems
Okay.
solid.
Yeah, your resources are good, which is plenty to be able to buy a dress at Target. So yeah, you can just go ahead and change into something. And I mean, are you gonna just go inside and meet him and then like call them over, or are they gonna like sit at another table and then you're gonna like motion like how's are they just
I
gonna
really,
all walk in 5 minutes later and be like, "Oh, Alexi, fancy seeing you here," Let's just advise.
Crazy.
How
Yeah,
like how are you guys gonna how
Yeah,
how are you guys
I,
gonna talk about that at all right now?
You need to, yeah, I would say, we'll give you 5 or 10 minutes, and then you can motion us over. We'll be waiting in the entrance area.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he's seen Rook at least, so maybe make sure Rook's out of sight.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. It's gonna be the worst date ever.
Oh,
I mean, it could
It's
go
gonna be
well.
a pretty bad date.
It could go well.
Yeah, you could have met him online. It could be worse.
All right, that's fair.
Okay. So, was he already there, or are you the first to arrive, Alexi?
Let's say he's already there.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, you walk in and you see him, and he has also changed into, like, probably more business casual. Like, he's still looking pretty fly, but he's not in a suit anymore. Something more comfortable.
Right.
Maybe, like, slacks and a polo or something.
Okay.
Or maybe, like... Yeah, I think slacks and polo is more his style. So, he's sitting there and looks up and like checks his watch, and he kind of like sighs a little bit, like relieved. Like you're perfectly on time, but he was like, he tells you, he's like, I was really worried you weren't gonna come.
I wouldn't do that. I will take my seat across from him.
And he smiles as you do so. And he's like, I hope you don't mind. I ordered a bottle of wine, and I'm afraid I already got started. And like you can see there's like a little bit of residue in the bottom of his glass, and the bottle is like half empty already.
I am gonna pour myself a glass.
A big old glass.
Right?
Like you reach for it, and he stops you, and he's like, "Allow me." He'll pour you a glass, and he'll pour another for himself.
I'm like 50 feet away. Like, oh, that's sweet.
like glued to the window taking notes. Is this a date part?
We're at the window right next to your table. Like,
Breathing really heavily, like
fogging up the glass.
And then wiping it off.
no, drawing little hearts in the glass. Please.
Is this what people do on dates?
I'm gonna take a really big drink from my glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
like a noticeably long amount of.
Yeah, like an inappropriately long.
Like I think
drink
he
from the-
takes a sip, and then he watches you still drinking, and then he's like, he just kind of nods, and then like also takes a big drink.
And taps his fingers together.
And no, like, well, this is going great. But then he'll put it down probably before you even still, and he looks up, and he's like, "I'm sorry, it's been a while."
It's gonna be even longer.
For me too, actually, believe it or not. Before we get too far into this, though, I need to tell you a very strange thing that just happened in my life. Like, literally just about an hour ago.
He kind of sits up a little bit straighter and goes, "You can tell me anything, Alexi."
Oh God.
Poor guy.
Okay. Well, an old friend of mine, an old acquaintance, really, to whom I owe a favor, ran into me at the office just before I left, and implored me, called him this old favor that he had, to meet with an acquaintance of his and give him some legal advice on a situation that had arisen in his life. And
I think like at that point, like as you're saying that, John he sighs and is like, I hate when that happens. It's like we don't have to deal with enough craziness at work, you know?
yeah, it gets worse.
How so?
Well, it turns out that this acquaintance of his that needed legal advice was that guy from New York that I warned you about the other day, that I also knew from New York. Yeah, it's extremely complicated. Remember when I warned you and said that it just seemed weird and shady that he wanted to meet with you? It was weird and shady, and you're not in any immediate danger, but what he wanted from me
All
was
right,
advice on how to
roll a lore
out of
right
this
now. Right,
situation.
roll lore right now. Yep.
Okay, hold on, let me get over to that part of my sheet. Where do I have lore? Fair. Not great. That's a one.
Not great. I'll give you something with this. If you'd like to learn more, you can invoke an aspect.
I feel like I ought to learn more just because you're making me make this roll.
So he kind of like as you're telling him this, what you get off of this is he kind of makes a like he makes a face like kind of frustrated, and he makes a noise. It's almost like almost a growl, like as you're telling him this, like. Oh, that hurt my voice. I'm sorry.
That was a really nice growl. I'm impressed.
Thank you all.
And your hair looks great.
I would like to invoke an aspect. I'm just not sure what aspect I would invoke here to get a better lore.
Well, let's all look at your aspects, and I'll
Yeah,
share
innate
aspects to
sense of
everybody in
justice.
case we have forgotten what they are. Let's see. None of your aspects are particularly great in this particular situation.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
I think your high aspect as Paladin of Mott would be the most appropriate.
Okay.
And let's see. Possibly all that is gold does not glitter, but I'll tell you why in a second.
Okay.
So yeah, I think probably Paladin of Mott is gonna be your best bet. I think we can definitely invoke that here to get a little bit more, because something supernatural is going on.
Okay, then yeah, I will invoke that. How do I reflect that I've used a fate point on my
your character sheet? There is a section that says current fate points, and it should have the number 4 in it, and you should change that to a 3.
Okay.
Done and done. Perfect.
All right. Lovely.
Awesome. Let's get back to this page here. Cool. Okay, yeah, so you are you're sitting there across the table from him, and as you're describing all of these things, he starts to make that kind of almost growl noise, and his eyes change color. Just so slightly. They become a little bit lighter. They were a kind of medium brown, and they slowly become lighter and lighter as you're talking to him. It's very subtle.
Okay.
But suddenly you realize that instead of being a medium brown, they're now almost yellow. almost golden in color.
Okie dokie. Do I know, like, what that is likely to be? Like, what
No,
creatures?
you don't have any idea what that represents on the roll that you have here, but you definitely recognize it as being supernatural, and you definitely notice it.
In general, just, like, what is his... Does he seem to be getting aggressive, or just from generally freaked out by this admittedly sort of freaky news?
Let's roll that here for being able to determine that. That is a empathy roll.
Okay.
And your empathy is average, so at least you have that skill. And is he trying to hide it? I do in my book for this one. I'm looking all over for it. Of course, it was over here.
Okay.
So, skills. Okay. It might be rapport. Pretty sure it's empathy though. Let's see. E. Reading people. Roll against rapport or defend with deceit. Okay. Okay, I don't think he realizes that he's doing this, so he's gonna roll rapport. So
Okay. So I got a 2 on that empathy roll.
Mm-hmm. Rolling the dice, super duper slow. I got a 1. So, yep. Yeah, so he is, he seems to be, a combination of scared and frustrated. Like, not like really frightened, but like this is a part of his past that he thought was done coming back to bite him. Like,
Okay.
so it's not like scared like, oh no, but scared like a healthy dose of I have an idea of what is happening, like appropriately this might kill me scared, but not like
Anxious.
I'm going to run away, but just yeah. But definitely
Okay,
there's
but
like a frustration. He's not angry or like going to attack you or anything.
Okay. If his hands are on the table, I'm gonna reach across the table and hold his hands, because the last thing that either of us need is for anyone else to notice what's the changes that are happening to him. So I'm gonna try and like calm him down.
Mm-hmm.
Good move.
Fully misreading the situation. And just
So-
swooning at the door.
Still looks like a date from the outside.
Pretty much.
Someone's taking notes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So what? Let me try drinking water again. Okay. One more time without dying. What is your intent with reaching across the table to touch his hand? Are you trying to calm him down? Are you trying to let him know that you noticed his eyes? Are you trying to do all of the above? Like,
Trying to calm him down. And I'll probably say something along the lines of, it's not going to... Something about not wanting to make a scene and we can go someplace else to talk about this if you wanted to, and that I'm really sorry this is happening because I was really looking forward to this date, etc., etc. But my primary goal is to calm him down, and I think that mentioning him, oh, by the way, I just noticed that you're some sort of supernatural creature, is not going to help that situation.
you don't think
It's really
so?
pretty out.
I don't. It just seems like maybe something I could mention to him later if it's still relevant.
He's still alive. What?
Yeah,
So yeah, to try to calm him down, that would be rolling empathy again.
Oh, good. I'm so good at that.
That is true.
I couldn't do that with presence. What does presence get me?
Presence is not. It is representing your leadership, reputation, and charisma.
Yeah, okay. All right.
But to
The-
reach out to him and try to calm him down, it's definitely empathy, or it could be rapport. In this particular case, actually.
I don't have any skill in rapport, so probably better that I just try empathy again.
Yeah, okay.
All right. This is really going very well for me.
Everyone's rolling hard.
All right, so that's a 1.
Well, that's it's not super great. But he's not like it's not something where you're like it's not like you're competing against him here. So that's enough to kind of make him realize that he is showing his. There are rules for skills modifying other skills. Yeah, I'm not that mean. Plus, Golden, you've read the rules way more thoroughly than I have. I'm just running this game. So yeah, he'll kind of realize that he's displaying his emotions outwards like that, and whether he actually calms down or if he just puts a tighter leash on them, you're not sure.
Okay.
But he outwardly appears to be a little bit calmer now, so you can continue to tell him what's going on.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just basically going to recap for him what I know, minus the parts where we were stalking him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And tell him that Rook has no interest or desire to kill him, and really doesn't even want to be involved with the mob, and is in a really shitty situation, which is why he came to Kelly and I in the first place.
And he's just kind of calmly like nodding as you're telling him these things.
But
he
that
hasn't,
my
he hasn't
concern-
responded though.
That's fine. I'm gonna babble until he does, basically. And that we've talked about things that Rook could do to get himself out of the situation, but that my concern is that regardless of how Rook removes himself from the situation, if they see that he's still, if the mob sees that John's still alive, they'll just send somebody else after him. And so I want to talk about how to keep him safe.
Are you holding his hand the entire time you're telling him these things?
If he doesn't pull away, yeah, probably.
Okay. So yeah, after a while, as you continue to babble on, he will he'll reach out and he will actually let me. Man, this dice rolling thing is going so slow. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, eventually he'll reach out and he will put his hand over your hand,
Okay.
and say, "Thank you, Alexi, for telling me all of this." And you realize that his eyes are back to their normal color again. You didn't
Right.
see the change happen, like you were like in the throes of like spilling your guts. But he like catches your eye and you can see that.
Okay.
And excuse me. So he and he says, "What am I supposed to do about this? I'm worried for my brother. I'm worried for myself."
I understand, and I wish that I had a simple answer for you. I mean, for your own sake, the very least you should be doing is laying low. Rook's plan right now, all that his bosses want is a death certificate, and I believe his plan right now is to forge a death certificate and send it back to them, which gets him out of his immediate situation and keeps you safe in the immediate sense, but of course could come back to bite everyone in the ass if his bosses back on the East Coast find out that no, in fact, you're not dead.
So he kind of nods and he's like, that's a good idea. I think we can do something like that, but I'm worried about Peter? Oh man, my notes need to be more organized.
Did you say glitter?
No, John's brother.
Charles.
Charles, thank you. 100% the worst at notes. Well, GG everybody.
It's okay. I'm really good at notes.
So yeah, so he says, it could go a lot worse if Charles thinks I'm dead and doesn't know that it's a ruse. I've got to find a way to get him a message if this is going to work.
Okay. What do you know about where he is?
I don't.
Or how
That's
to
the
get
problem.
him?
Nobody in our... And he pauses for a second like he was going to say a word, and instead he says, family does.
Okay. Let's... I hate to call off this date because I really would have liked to have a lovely date with you tonight.
And I think he smiles, but like it's an almost self-deprecating smile, like I should have known this wasn't gonna work kind of a smile.
Okay. I will see that and add onto my statement, and maybe when this immediate circumstance is behind us, we can try that again.
And then like the smile like becomes a little bit broader, and there's a small twinkle in his eye.
Wonderful.
And like that at that point, like you realize that you guys are still holding hands across the table, and like he like pats his hand on top of yours, and says, "Maybe we should worry about this later, or maybe we should worry about that later. Let's deal with the business at hand."
Agreed. I have some friends, I mentioned them earlier, who are aware of the situation and may have resources or ideas that we don't. If, to be honest, they followed me here, and I suspect that they are loitering by the front door, waiting for me to come tell them how this went.
They're hanging out in the wings.
I'm in the bushes by your table.
I think it might be a good idea for us to go find them and go someplace a little more private, maybe back to the office or back to one of our homes, someplace that we don't have to worry about people overhearing.
Ooh, definitely
And
not my place.
put together a plan.
We can go to my place.
Your place is my place.
So
Magic.
yeah, he nods and signals for the waiter and pays for the bottle of wine. And
I offer to split it with him, particularly since this was like the world's worst date. I feel like he shouldn't.
he takes the bottle and like looks at it, and there's like not even a glass of wine worth left, and it's like, I drank most of this waiting for you. It's only fair that I pay for it.
You know what? It's been a weird enough night. I am not even gonna argue with him on this. I'm just gonna let him pay for it then.
Okay. Yeah, no. So
Like,
the
yeah, I know you're right.
so the two of you head back out, where Kelly as Vito, Jane as X, and Rook, like with a hood up, pretending not to be himself, is hanging out by the front door.
All right. We're still really close to the office, right?
Sure, yeah, totally.
And presumably we have keys or codes or whatever we need to get in after hours.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to suggest we head back to the office and go to a conference room or something to have this conversation.
That's a good idea. I left my car there anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. And so, like, he looks at, like, this group, this mismatched group of men and boys that are kind of loitering by the door. It's like, are these your friends?
Such a strong word. These are the people
I
I was telling
will
you
say that
about.
Alex looks like they're trying not to be really hopeful. Being claimed as someone's friend.
Honestly, of the three of you, Jane's probably the one she actually considers a friend. But right now,
Witty.
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I'm really friends with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
You're
That might
just a
change.
hero.
That might change.
It could. It might. I don't know.
Yeah, heroes don't have time for friends.
I know, they're just so
suck.
busy being cool.
You're gonna be caught, and we'll save your life, and then you'll begrudgingly just kind of wedge our way into your heart.
One of us.
Ugh.
Okay.
Competence.
So you guys all head over to the office building then?
Yeah.
Okay. It's after hours, and most of the people have already left, and so you're easily enough able to find a conference room that is quiet and secure that you can have this conversation in. It's not terribly
Okay.
unusual in your line of work to need to have a meeting with clients after hours for one reason or another, so
Right.
taking over a conference room and like putting up the do not disturb light will be respected, so
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well then, all the cards on the table. We all know what's going on in terms of the mafia aspect here, and in terms of keeping both John and Rook out of harm's way. But I think that we should all be aware that we are each individually aware that there is a supernatural aspect to this as well.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
I think at
There
that
is a-
point, like John had been like, I don't know, like pouring waters for everyone or something along those lines, and like drops a glass as at the same time Rook is like, what? And his back is to you all as like this glass, like it's probably plastic just because, but it like hits the ground and like water splashes everywhere.
I'm gonna just pretend not to notice and give him a minute to compose himself.
Why, I knew that Vito, but the rest of you?
Rook,
Surprise!
what are the chances? What are the chances that Vito would have gotten involved in this if there weren't something?
I'm going to take a second to remind the party that I probably have a concealed carry license. So
I'm sure
I'm
you do.
I'm a little anxious right now.
Is he?
Are you going to pull a weapon? Is that what you're
No,
suggesting?
I'm not threatened. It's just my mind lingers to it.
Okay. Well, nobody is
Is he-
a mind reader that you know of in the room, so it's okay.
Okay, good.
Wait.
Oh,
She's like,
you're
kinda-
Alex pointing at.
So, are you all shapeshifters, or I mean, can you all change your form, or what? What is?
Wait. What is Alexi?
I serve the goddess Maat.
Oh,
Are you a ghost?
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, I don't know that you would have either, but
Good to know. Good to know. And Rook is just Rook?
Yo, I'm just a person.
Oh. Me too.
I didn't say that everyone in the room was supernatural. I'm saying that the situation has a supernatural aspect to it.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Okay. It's cool, Rook. We're human.
All right.
Declared game.
So I think like after that, I think like after that exchange, like I just said it had a supernatural aspect to it or whatever.
Oh.
I think that John has finally finished composing himself, and he brings the waters over to the table, and says, "Supernatural, you say? In what way?"
Yeah, that's probably the question I should have asked.
It's okay. I don't know enough about supernatural stuff to ask those questions. Being human.
I'm gonna look him straight in the eye and tell him, I suspect you know the
I just look at him and I revert back to my normal form.
Like his eyes grow wide, and he's like, "Well, that's an interesting talent."
Really, really interesting. Whoa, didn't see that coming.
I like to bring it to the party.
Hmm
And then I poke Jane in the shoulder.
Oh, and I turn into Rook. Oh.
Oh, that's your true form. It is me.
Hey Rick, it's that guy from Panini Plus from yesterday. God, there's something really familiar about him. You just cannot put your finger on it.
Do you own any power suits?
Yes, I do. And then I turn into the busty blonde.
Your clothing does not have the capacity for a busty blonde. It's going to be
Oh,
very
no.
painful.
It's like a bra now.
I keep my eyes forward.
Yeah, you were probably wearing like a t-shirt or something, and it is stretched to capacity.
I'll go back to being Dane DeHaan. Or Alex X.
Yeah. X.
Do you got any party tricks there, big guy? Looking at victim number, what's his name?
John Woodmere.
John.
No, I like victim number whatever. That's I like
Victim number, I don't know,
I'm
something.
dating this guy. Quit it.
Wait, hold on. When did it go from you're going on a
I
date
don't
with
know.
him to you're dating? Okay.
Mhm.
We had a very confessional moment at the restaurant.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
I think he looks between the two of you, and he looks at Alexi, and he kind of sighs and says, I'm sorry. I'm afraid I have a similar trick, but it's not as quick or as pleasant. And this is a perfect time to end it as he turns into a wolf.
Hey,
Ah.
hey, wolf party!
Sweet.
All right.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good stopping point.
all right. Paranormal things.
I'm so excited, you guys.
Best time.
Cool.
All right.
Okay. I'm
So-
gonna go get ready. So
Absolutely.
good
Bye.
playing.
All right.
Thank you,
Good
everyone,
playing,
for
guys. See
joining
y'all
us.
later.
Thanks for being professional.
Thanks for winning the game.
All right, take care.
All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye to everybody. I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm glad we finally got to that point, and I'm glad we got to actually game on the right day and in time and everything. So we'll work out when the next session is going to be in a little while when we're not streaming, because it turns out in December a lot of people have things that they do.
What? Is December busy for people?
I don't know why. It's weird. It's like the end of the year or something, I guess. Like you just gotta to knock out all those
See.
social obligations. All right.
Taxes.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Thanks
Yeah,
everyone for
that's it.
watching. It was nice.